Now, next is the work done by the impeller. The work done by the impeller can be found out using two methods, either by using the Euler's work or by using the steady flow energy equation, SFE. Now I'll start with the Euler's work. The work done by the impeller on air, it is found out by applying the moment of momentum theorem. In this, the work done per kilogram of air is given by theoretical torque into angular velocity omega. Now the theoretical torque is given by rate of change of angular momentum, and it is given by VW2 R2 minus VW1 R1. Clear? This R1 R2 you already know that it is the radius of the impeller at inlet and outlet. So we have the work done equation in terms of, we have the torque equation, that is VW2 R2 minus VW1 R1. We know work done is torque into omega, right? So work done will be given by VW2 R2 minus VW1 R1 into omega. We'll expand that, but we know R1 omega will be U1 and R2 omega will be U2. So we'll rearrange that and write the work done equation as M into VW2 U2 minus VW1 U1. This is the Euler's equation, where M is the mass flow rate, rho A Vf1, and Vf1 is the velocity of flow. You might remember these equations from velocity triangles of turbines. Since air is entering radially into the impeller blades, Vw will be 0. I have explained about that before. Since alpha is 90 degree, the horizontal component of absolute velocity Vw1 will be 0. Finally, the work input equation is given by M Vw2 into U2. So that is the work done using Euler's equation. Next is the work done by the impeller from steady flow energy equation. Now the steady flow energy equation for a compressor is given by U1 plus P1 V1 plus V1 square by 2 plus Z1G plus W. W is the work done, is equal to U2 plus P2 V2 plus V2 square by 2 plus Z2G plus Q, where Q is the heat transfer. So when we do some work, some heat energy will be produced, right? That is Q. U is the internal energy per kilogram of air. PV is the flow work per kilogram of air. V1 square by 2 is the kinetic energy per kilogram of air. Zg is the potential energy per kilogram of air. W is the work done per kilogram of air, and Q is the heat transfer per kilogram of air. Now, we'll assume that Q is 0, that is just during the compression process, and we'll also neglect the potential energy terms since they are we'll assume that it is happening in the same potential energy level. Now, as compared to the reciprocating compressors, the velocities encountered to centrifugal compressors are very large, and therefore total head quantities shall be considered while analyzing centrifugal compressors. That means we'll consider stagnation, pressure and temperature. I'll explain that. Okay, I'll start by explaining what is stagnation state or stagnation stage. The stagnation stage of a flowing fluid is defined as a state attained when by the fluid when it is isentropically brought to rest. Imagine a fluid that is flowing at a very high velocity, okay, and it is suddenly brought to rest isentropically. That is important. Isentropically, that is it is brought to rest by a reversible process. The conditions of the fluid after it is brought to rest are called as stagnation conditions or the stagnation properties. The temperature, pressure, enthalpy after it has reached stagnation is called as stagnation temperature, stagnation pressure and stagnation enthalpy. Now another important term is stagnation enthalpy. It is the sum of static enthalpy plus kinetic energy. Clear? I am going to go back to the steady flow energy equation. Now in the case of steady flow energy equation, U1 plus P1 is H1, okay, U1 plus P1 is H1. We'll cancel Z1G and Z2G. since they are in the same potential energy level, and we'll assume Q to be 0. So Q is also gone, and here also U2 plus P2 V2 will be equal to H2 enthalpy, static enthalpy. Clear? So the final equation becomes like this: H plus V1 square by 2 plus W is equal to H2 plus V2 square by 2. Clear? So where H is equal to U plus PV, which is the static enthalpy per kilogram of air. Clear? So W per kilogram of air will be equal to H2 plus V2 square by 2 minus H1 plus V1 square by 2. Since H plus V is equal to stagnation enthalpy, we will write it as work done per kilogram of air is equal to H02 minus H01. So H01 is H1 plus V1 square by 2, H02 is H2 plus V2 square by 2. Just one more thing, all the stagnation properties will be denoted by a suffix notation 0. So now H01 is, we know H is equal to mCp delta T, right? Same equation. Since it is taken for per kilogram, we'll write it as Cp T01. H1 is Cp T1 plus V1 square by 2. So T01 becomes T1 plus V1 square by 2 Cp. Similarly, T02 becomes T2 plus V2 square by 2 Cp. Where T0, T02, T01 and T02 are stagnation temperature at inlet and outlet. T1, T2 is static temperature at inlet and outlet. Clear? Now this is a graph, temperature entropy graph. This shows the stagnation pressure line, and this shows the static pressure line. The red one shows the static pressure line and the yellow one shows the stagnation pressure line. The dotted line is the static pressure line. Clear? Now as you can see, just look into the graph. 1, 2, 0, 1. That is the isentropic compression, right? This is the stagnation condition, this point. Similar thing happens in the top side also. 0, 2 is the static condition, that is 2 to 0, 2. Clear? This straight line shows the isentropic compression. So since 1 to 0, 1 is isentropic compression, we can write T01 by T1 is equal to P01 by P1 the whole raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma. Same thing is applied here also. So we'll combine these two and find the ratio for T02 by T01. That will be equal to P02 by P01. Basically, we found out the relationship between stagnation temperature and stagnation pressure for the process 01 and 02. Clear? So the work input is H02 minus H01. It can be modified as Cp H is equal to mCp delta T. So per kilogram becomes Cp into T. So work input is mCp into T01 into T02 by T01 minus 1. What we did was we took T01 as the common factor and took it outside. Now what we'll do is we'll substitute this equation here and we'll get this. Work input is equal to mCp T01 into P02 by P01 the whole raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma minus 1. Now if the velocity of air is equal, if the velocity of air at inlet is equal to velocity of air at outlet, we can slightly modify this equation. Since V2 and V1 is equal, they'll get cancelled out and it becomes equal to H2 minus H1, which will be equal to Cp into T2 minus T1. And we'll again modify it by T. We'll take T1 as the common factor, take it outside, and we'll modify it this way: mCp into T1 into P2 by P1 the whole raised to gamma minus 1 by gamma minus 1. Clear? So I hope you have understood all these factors. If you have any doubts, please feel free to contact me. Thank you.